¿Qué pasó, mi gente? It's your favorite Panya boy Jai back with another banger. Your host with the most, your man with the plan, and the face that runs the place, which is trending worldwide. Voy a seguir adelante y agradecer a todo mi oyentes españoles también. Muchas gracias. So shout out to my Spanish listeners back home in Panama. So let's get started. Today's mood: emotionally available but still flinching when someone texts, "We need to talk." So, this episode is called Raised on Survival, Loving in Safety. Because a lot of us are trying to build soft, steady love with tools we inherited from chaos. We were raised on silence, shutdowns, and survival mode. Now we're trying to love with presence, clarity, and care. And it's hard, but obviously it's possible. So we're going to talk about what survival mode love looks like, how it shows up in our relationships, and how we can start choosing safety, even when it feels unfamiliar. So let's name it. Survival mode love taught us don't ask for too much, stay ready to leave, don't get too soft, love is earned, not given, and vulnerability is dangerous. So we learn to read moods like weather reports. We learn to shrink ourselves to keep the peace. We learn to perform strength even when we were breaking. And now we're trying to unlearn all that. We're trying to love without fear. But the muscle memory is real. You get a kind text and your first thought is, what the fuck do they want? You feel safe and your body starts bracing for the fallout, right? That's survival mode residue. And it doesn't mean you're broken. It just means that you're healing, right? So let me tell you about a time where one of my colleagues felt safe in love and didn't know what to do with it. They were calm, consistent, emotionally clear, and they were suspicious. They kept waiting for the switch up. They kept testing them. They kept pulling back just to see if the other would chase them because they weren't used to safety. They were used to survival. They were used to proving their worth, performing their pain, and preparing for abandonment. But they didn't flinch. They didn't punish their person for their fear. They just stayed. And slowly they started to trust it, right? They started to soften. They started to believe that love could feel like home, not a battlefield. And that's what loving in safety looks like. It's not perfect. It's not performative. It's steady. It's healing. It's quiet enough for your nervous system to exhale, right? So let's talk culture. In a lot of our communities, especially black, brown, working class, survival mode love is the norm. We're taught to be strong, not soft, to be loyal, not vulnerable, to be guarded, not open, right? So we inherit emotional habits from people who never had the luxury of healing. Like parents who couldn't say, "I love you," but show it through food, protection, or sacrifice. Friends who joke through trauma because crying feels unsafe. Lovers who disappear when things get too real, not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to stay. And we carry that into our relationships. We confuse chaos with passion. We mistake silence for peace. We think love means struggle, but it doesn't have to. We can rewrite the script. We can choose softness without losing strength. We can build safety without losing edge. So, my favorite part, the Safety Love Starter Pack. I'm not going to say nothing. I ain't going to talk about something without having a starter pack, right? So if you're trying to love in safety, here's your starter pack. A journal that doesn't judge your spirals, obviously. You can pour your heart out into words just to get it out. That way it's not always on your mind. You're not overstimulated over things that are just clouding your judgment of things where you're second guessing like different situationships. You feel me? Another thing. A playlist that calms your nervous system. Think Cleo Soul or Her or like a lo-fi and silencing playlist with music that are just soothing. Maybe waterfalls or something. Whatever is your niche, right? A partner or friend who doesn't punish your vulnerability. So literally you open up to somebody and they're open to hearing what you have to say without even giving you constructive criticism on how you think or how you feel, because sometimes there's a time and place for everything, especially in the moment, in the heat of the moment of your emotions, like just going head on with how you feel in that moment. Sometimes waiting until after the smoke, like the dust is clear, And then when everything is calmed down, you can be like, okay, I could tell you how I personally feel about this because, like, you're not into the thick of it, right? Another thing, boundaries that feel like protection, not punishment, right? Also, a space, physical or emotional, where you can be messy and still be loved. Bonus, the ability to say, I'm scared without being ashamed of it. So, yeah, we were raised on survival, but we're learning to love in safety. And that shift, that's revolutionary. It's not easy, it's not instant, but it's worth it. Because love shouldn't feel like a test. It should feel like a place to land. So, with that being said, this is trending worldwide. And if you're choosing safety over survival, I see you. If you're loving with clarity, I still see you. And just don't confuse peace with boredom. Not tonight. Peace.